Hi, my name is Jyoti Bansal. I'm CEO and founder of Harness. Welcome to Unscripted 2024. We're very excited to have you here, and we have a great day planned. We're going to talk about some of the new innovations that are coming out of Harness. You're going to get a first look in these innovations. We're going to show you how the Harness platform comes together as a comprehensive software delivery platform to transform your DevOps journeys and your developer experience. We're going to talk about our investments in AI and what we are bringing in terms of innovations on AI. And then later in the afternoon, you're going to hear from our customers, their stories on how they have used Harness for DevOps transformation. So let's get started. Our mission at Harness from day one has been to bring the best experiences for your software developers, to ship code efficiently, reliably, quickly to the end users. And towards that mission, we have been systematically building out the most comprehensive software delivery platform. The reason we believe in this mission, we do think software engineers drive the innovation in all over the world, whether it's banking, insurance, finance, telecom, retail, whatever innovations that are happening in our life are driven by software developers. And there's a lot of toil that slows software developers down. So if we can remove all that toil, we can increase the pace of innovation here. So we are very proud that over the last many years, we have delivered towards that mission of bringing the most comprehensive software delivery platform to the market. We started with continuous delivery as the first module in our platform. And over the last 5 years, we have significantly expanded our platform into many capabilities from continuous integration, feature flags, cloud cost management, chaos engineering, bringing security, reliability in your pipelines, improving developer experience. So you have the most comprehensive software delivery platform that can help you with every aspect of SDLC. We have innovated every year, and I'm very excited and proud to show you some of the new innovations that are coming from us this year. To start with, we launched 5 new modules on Harness platform last year. Harness Code Repository, our internal developer portal, our software supply chain assurance capability, our infrastructure as code management capability, and software engineering insights. Significant expansion of our platform in these 5 modules last year. So in addition to these 5 new modules, our team has been hard at work. We shipped 11,000 new features, enhancements, and UI fixes in our platform over the last 12 months. And our pace of innovation is just increasing. Last month, we had 27% more velocity on innovation than we had 12 months ago. So I'm very proud of all of these capabilities that we are bringing to you. Let me highlight a few of these capabilities. Last year, we put a significant amount of investment in AI to bring you AI announcements for troubleshooting when deployments or builds are failing, to create our dashboards automatically, to fix security vulnerabilities, etc. And we are seeing a lot of customer excitement around those. Secondly, we invested heavily in continuing to expand our leadership on continuous delivery. We added capabilities around native support for Argo and Flux rollouts in our GitOps. We added a lot of capabilities on serverless frameworks and Lambda built in natively into the Harness CD platform. Thirdly, we continued to grow our CI. Our CI, when we launched in 2021, it was designed with speed in mind, that we are the fastest CI on the planet. We can run your builds 4x faster than any other CI. And we continue to invest in making that even faster in the last 12 months with native support for Gradle and Bazel, cache intelligence, etc. And then finally, our belief is to continue to integrate into the ecosystem of developer toolchain. And we did that last year with a lot more integrations in the toolchain, including our support for OpenTofu, which is a fork from Terraform, and then our native integration of Wiz in the Harness pipeline, so you can get complete visibility inside your cloud security posture, integrated in your CI/CD processes. Earlier this year, we announced acquisition of Split in the Harness platform. At Harness, we always believe that feature flags have to be deeply integrated in your CI/CD processes and the pipelines. All the controls that you have in your pipelines when you ship code for security, quality, reliability, they have to be applied when you make a change in your feature flags as well. At Harness, we designed our feature flags module with that in mind. Split, on the other hand, is leader in experimentation and measurability. And we do think the combination of the 2 feature flag offerings, we can bring the best feature flag and experimentation product to the market, and we are very, very excited about it. We are seeing a lot of excitement among our customers as well. For example, customers like McDonald's who are using Split feature flags for mobile app experimentation. We are also getting a lot of recognition from the industry and from the analysts. Earlier this month, Gartner published their Magic Quadrant for DevOps platforms for 2024, and Harness was recognized as a leader in the Magic Quadrant. We were recognized for our completeness of vision and for the pace of innovation. Gartner even called out that Harness has the highest pace of innovation in the DevOps market right now. So very excited and very proud of this recognition, but this kind of recognition cannot happen without our customers. So I'm really thankful to our customers for their support, their trust, and your partnership here. We are now working with 900 plus enterprise customers, and we are delivering real value to these customers. Just in the last 12 months, we had 55 million deployments on Harness Continuous Delivery. We had 725 million builds on Harness Continuous Integration. We had 8 billion tests optimized in our test intelligence. We had 9 trillion flag evaluations as part of Harness feature flags and split. We had 1.1 million security scans from our security testing orchestration. And we had $1.6 billion of cloud spend optimized with our cloud cost management. So real tangible numbers and a lot of results that we have been able to produce for our customers. Here are some examples of the value we have been able to deliver to our customers. Ulta Beauty, they increased their deployment frequency 50 times using Harness CI/CD. United Airlines, for about 8,000 developers, were able to reduce their build times by 17 minutes for each build. Ancestry.com was able to reduce their downtime by 50% because of the reliability that got introduced with using Harness deployment pipelines. Citibank, for about 20,000 developers, are now deploying to production in 7 minutes for each code change, which used to take weeks before Harness. Choice Hotels was able to reduce their rollback time from 4 hours to 5 minutes, increasing their reliability significantly. And Experian, they increased their release velocity from 2 deployments a month to 100 deployments a month. So these are real results that we were able to deliver to our customers, and something that we take a lot of pride in. As an engineering leader, and when I talk to a lot of people in the industry, one thing that we realized that the industry is struggling with defining what engineering excellence means. What does good software engineering mean? What are the benchmarks? What are the standards? What are the best practices? So last year at Unscripted, we launched Engineering Excellence as an open organization where the community can come together and help define these. So this community meets regularly in multiple different cities. We are very excited that we have 700 plus members in the Engineering Excellence community. If you would like to join here, please scan the barcode, and we'd love to have you part of this. The favorite part of my job is to talk to a lot of industry leaders, a lot of folks in the developer and DevOps community, and learn from them what they are seeing as challenges. The number one thing that we are seeing in the market is there's still a lot of developer toil. We see about 40% waste in developer time with toil. And the toil could be because of builds, because of deployments, because of managing cloud costs, security, compliance, all kind of things that add up. Last year, we created a study around it to get some kind of numbers around what is the impact of all of this toil that's happening. So we talked to 500 engineering leaders who are not Harness customers to get an independent view of what we are seeing in the market. So here are some of the numbers that we saw. First, we saw that there is still a lot of challenge around how people release software. 60% of engineering organizations are still releasing code on a monthly or quarterly basis. 42% of developers said that they cannot release code to production without risking failures. 67% of developers attest to waiting for over a week to complete a code review. And there is real human cost to developers because of all these inefficiencies in the release processes. The average time developers spend working overtime each month is 10 days, what we saw in our survey. 52% of developers said that burnout is the reason their teammates or them have left their job in the past. And if you're an engineering manager, our survey said that it takes about 2 months to onboard a new developer and to get a new developer more productive. So a lot of challenges, both on the inefficiencies for the organizations, but also to the developers themselves. At Harness, our innovation priorities are driven by what we hear from our customers and the trends that we are seeing. Our priorities are balancing innovation and reliability, automating policy and governance, using AI for developer efficiency, bringing measurability into SDLC, and automating cloud cost management and cost savings. So a lot of stuff that we are doing at Harness is influenced and driven by these. Today, I'm very excited to show some of the new innovations on Harness platform. And to do that, let me welcome Nick Durkin, our field CTO, to join me here.
Thank you, Jyoti. I'm Nick Durkin, Field CTO at Harness, and today I'm here to talk to you about the power of the platform. The benefit of the platform is not only its security, its policy, its governance, but it's really about the modularity, allowing you to use what you need when you need it, but also keep all the things that you love. We integrate with all of our competitors on purpose to make sure it's easy to consume, and again, solving the problems that you have today. We're here to talk about modernizing DevOps, enhancing that developer experience, adding security through it, and making sure you're doing it extremely efficiently. The whole goal today, I want to start with a demo showing the day in the life of a developer, starting as day one onboarding. Let's get into it. Let's start this off as the life as a developer. The first thing I want to do is I want to understand who's even on my team. Let's look at what services we're working on, and more importantly, the individual service that I need to actually start building. Here we can quickly understand every single piece of information that I need to know about my application. Here's a scorecard of how my team's doing. Also, all the upstream and downstream services that we're working with, as well as all the Jira tickets, bugs, epics that we need to actually start working on. I've got all of my builds and deploys available to me. I can see exactly how they've gone through that system. I can look at all my APIs that I need to interact with, as well as my documentation. All of this is available for me at my fingertips. I can also go ahead and start adding self-service aspects. So if I need to kick up infrastructure or get to templates, they're all here and available for me that my team's provided. The benefit is that I have everything at my fingertips to start developing right now. The one problem that I have traditionally is that I have to start and build up my brand new laptop, adding my IDEs, all of my configuration. This is a huge pain. Also making sure that I keep my code secure. I never want to leave my code exposed if I lose my laptop or anything. So here to talk about our newest module is Jyoti.
I'm very excited to announce our latest module, Cloud Developer Environments. So why Cloud Developer Environments? We all have our local environments, dev environments on our laptops, but they're a big source of toil and work. Many times to set up the right environment, your libraries that you have to download and make sure they are there are incompatible. Many times that causes, this works on my laptop kind of problem, but it doesn't work when you introduce the code into the code repo or in your CI/CD pipelines. A lot of security issues, compliance issues can happen around it. Many times your laptops don't have enough resources to do things. So with the cloud developer environment, you can solve all of these problems. You can make developer onboarding on a new environment very easy, just in a few clicks, in a matter of seconds. All your libraries and all the dependencies that you need are there. Everything is secure, compliant, governed by your security teams to be safe. And it removes a lot of the developer toil and burden in getting you started. So let's see this in action.
Well, let's show cloud developer environments. It's as easy as a single click. I'm going to launch this Git space, which will give us our cloud developer environment instantaneously. It's going to kick up the container with all the parts and pieces that my infrastructure team has defined to make sure that exactly what I'm building on and designing on matches production. I'm going to go quickly add my SSH key. I'm going to choose the size of my machine, and off to the races I go. My cloud developer environment's being spun up. The benefit here is I can look at all my different cloud developer environments, and I can actually have my security teams, my infrastructure teams, make sure that what we're building and what we're designing on meets all of our requirements. What you'll find is we've got this dev container specifically. It's going to pull the specific containers that my team has decided that are allowed to run, that match our production instances, that match what's sitting in QA. So I never have the problem of, oops, that worked on my laptop, and it no longer works once it makes its way downstream. I can also add all of the different pieces that I want, extra third-party libraries that my team allows me to, giving me the flexibility as an engineer, but keeping me on the guardrails. The intent is really to make it easy to do the right things and hard to do the wrong things. If, say, I'm out and I don't even have my laptop, I don't have my IDE, one of the benefits too is that I can actually kick it up right here from an IDE in a browser. So the benefit is that, again, I get all of the security with my code sitting in the cloud, secured by Harness. I get all of the infrastructure and configuration handled by my operations teams, and I can literally start coding anywhere. Once I commit my code, Harness is actually leveraging artificial intelligence to make it extremely easy to get to the information that you need using its own context. I can quickly search with our AI to ask complex things like, where is the code that handles the authentication? And the benefit here is that Harness is going to go ahead and, without me having understanding of the application as a new engineer, I can show very quickly all of the places that this is actually included. The other benefit is it's secure by design. So at any point in time, if I go and say maybe add a secret or accidentally include part of my keys that I shouldn't have, we can prevent that from happening. Let me go and show you a quick example of exactly what that looks like. I'm going to just go into a README, we'll go ahead and edit it, and I'm going to accidentally paste a note that wants my folks to actually go and use this key. The benefit is that Harness is going to prevent this from ever being committed. Since this is something that is audited, we never want it to even land in the repository, and Harness will prevent that from happening. Again, making it easy to do that right thing and hard to do that wrong thing. Now that we've committed our code, we're going to go through our build and our deploy. Let's go ahead and look at what that looks like. Here you'll notice that we saved 6 minutes and 31 seconds using Harness Intelligence. We did that in a multitude of ways. First, we restored from cache, making sure that you don't have to know exactly what to restore, what cache you need, it's all here for you. We also made sure that we restored all the tasks that you needed to operate. And then most importantly, we started using our test intelligence. This is where we go ahead and understand the changes that you made to your code and only execute the tests that actually were affected. Let me go show you an example of that right now. Here, we're looking at almost 10,000 unit tests that should have been run. The interesting thing is once we actually correlated the changes that we made in code to the actual tests that we're needing to run, we only had to run about 1,200 of those tests. However, if we had any new tests, which we didn't, or updated tests, we don't know the result set of those, so we will have to run those as well. But in so doing, we literally saved 6.5 minutes just by optimizing the tests that we would run every single time you build. What you'll notice through this pipeline is security was embedded. So of course, we're running our source code scanning, our SAST scanning through this process, and then after we actually build, we're going to push this to an artifact registry. One of the things that our customers have asked us over and over again was, you're doing our builds, you're doing our deploys, why aren't we storing the artifacts in a registry by Harness? So here to talk about that again is Jyoti.
I'm very excited to announce our new module, Harness Artifact Registry. Artifact registries have been a key part of our DevOps pipeline, DevOps processes. But we do believe there's a lot of innovation needs to be done there. The developer toil and effort around managing artifacts, making sure artifacts are safe and secure, managing the lifecycle of artifacts is still a lot of pain and a lot of burden. With Harness Artifact Registry, we are simplifying it all. It's designed to be AI native and giving developers the experience of natural language interfaces around managing artifact lifecycle. It's designed to be secure. All elements of safety, security, compliance, so that you can comply with your needs are built in. It's designed to be very, very scalable, so we can manage the scale of what we do with our CI/CD. 55 million deployments that we did on our platform last year, 700 million plus builds that we did on our platform last year. Our artifact registry easily scales to all of those levels. So let's see this in action.
Let's take a look at Harness's brand new artifact registry. What you'll note is we've added all the same AI into our registry, the same as we have everywhere else in the platform. One of the things we can do is ask extremely complex questions of it so we can get to all the things that we need. Like, let's list all the artifacts in production that have critical vulnerabilities. I can quickly get to them and understand every single aspect about my artifact, where it was built and deployed, what its supply chain includes, what security tests were run. All the artifact details are here for me, the layers and the manifests. In my build of materials, I can look at not only what third-party tools were used, but also all the licenses that were used as well. This allows me to actually prevent, say, using an MIT license to make sure that we never have to share our code with anyone else. We can also look at all of those vulnerabilities and the deployments throughout this process. Every single aspect is here for you about every single artifact. One of the other benefits is that we've built this to scale. You can configure your artifact registries to have upstream proxies. So now in all the different locations, we can make sure that we're caching anytime we grab those artifacts that we need, allowing us to have exactly what we need, but nothing extra. We can also replicate these. So we can put replication rules to make sure that if we do have multiple data centers and we want to keep full copies of those locations, we can. This also means that you can replicate the current artifact registries that you have today and suck them right into Harness. We also have cleanup policies, which allow you to make sure that if you do have critical vulnerabilities that show up, you can even prevent them from showing up in your artifact registry by making sure that those vulnerabilities never show up. They're never even deployable because we'll clean them up before they actually become accessible. You can also filter on all of these to make sure it's convenient. You only show your engineers exactly what they need to see, never allowing anything extra. This is Harness's brand new artifact registry, including all the AI capabilities and the scalability that you know and love at Harness. Now back in the pipeline, we've done all of our security scanning. We've now pushed this to our artifact registry. Of course, we're attaching that software build of materials, but we're also adding even image scanners. And one of the complex things that people have to do is handle all of these different scanners, all the different outputs. So Harness aggregates, normalizes, and deduplicates all of your security vulnerabilities for you. We'll go ahead and look at all the security tests that happen. One of the things is I don't want to look at what security is already known about, what they've got compensating controls for, so we can show those. But what's more important to me is exactly what I introduced this very specific build. You'll notice that I added 2 critical vulnerabilities, and it's aggregating this from all of the different scanning tools that we have. One of the benefits here is that Harness is going to, again, aggregate, normalize, and deduplicate, making sure that you don't have to go through and find all the instances that happen. But we're also going to help you using our AI. If there is, for instance, no recommended action based on the tooling that you scan with, Harness can actually go ahead, understand the vulnerability that's there, and give you recommendations based on what we've seen actually be successful. You will actually note here down on the bottom, there are multiple occurrences of this vulnerability, and again, we're aggregating these for you so you don't have to look at each one individually. This allows you to quickly prioritize and understand which vulnerabilities you need to fix, how to get them, and again, prioritize them for you. If this is stopping your pipeline from going through to production, maybe security set in policies to make sure that I don't have criticals that go into production. One of the things I can do is quickly request an exemption. Maybe this is a brand new exception from a third party. So I'm going to ask my security team for 7-day exemption based on the fact that there is no fix unavailable. This can be based on a multitude of different reasons, but now you can have that conversation with security in an auditable fashion so we know exactly who's approving this to go to production or denying it from that as well. If this is allowed to go to production, we'll continue and go, if it's allowed to continue forward, we'll go ahead and look at exactly what this pipeline looks like. After it went through its full build, pushed to its artifact, did all of its scans, we're now going to go ahead and light up our infrastructure. Here we're using Harness's infrastructure as code management, where we're going to go interact with whether it's Terraform or OpenTofu. We're going to go run the initializations. We're going to run the plans. We can also then apply security scans, but we can give you information not just on what you've changed in the resources, but also the cost. So here's a look at exactly the resources that we're requesting to change, and even the cost estimation that's showing up based on the request that we have. What you'll note really quickly is that we have 400% increase in cost, and that's simply because we're changing the amount of nodes we're requesting in the pool. If this is acceptable, it can continue on forward. If not, maybe I'll go and ask for approval from an executive, or again, this could potentially stop my pipeline based on my policy. Now I'll push into development after infrastructure stood up. And here again, we're going to initialize. We'll follow that same build of materials and make sure that it's included. We'll also add SLSA verification, so attesting that this is the same exact artifact that was built, now being deployed. Of course, we're going to apply your infrastructure as we always do. We're also going to update all of your ticketing systems, whether it be Jira or ServiceNow, making sure that people get the information that they need in the systems that they love. Again, not making them leave the systems, but actually operate where they're at. Also, one of the things that all of our customers have been asking us for is, now you're doing this for our applications, you're doing this for our infrastructure, what if you can provide those same DevOps practices for our databases? And again, here to talk about our brand new module is Jyoti Bansal.
I'm thrilled to announce our new module, Database DevOps. Database changes have always been a source of friction and a source of toil in your CI/CD and deployment processes. We see constantly that people have automated with modern CI/CD code deployments, and practices like GitOps, etc. What if we can bring the same kind of changes to database DevOps and deploying database changes? For databases, we constantly see people emailing the SQL scripts to DBAs, and DBAs are applying the SQL scripts manually. We can modernize that all. And that's what Harness Database DevOps is designed for, to bring modern CI/CD and modern GitOps kind of practices to database changes, streamline the entire process, remove that as a bottleneck from your deployment pipelines. Let's see that in action.
So just like Jyoti talked about, one of the benefits of Harness is that we know what you deployed, on which infrastructure, with which configuration, and which secrets. This allows us to always get you back to where you were before you started without you writing a single line of code. This has always been true for the applications, also the infrastructure, and now it's actually applicable to databases. Let's go look at this in the demo. What you'll notice here is that we're doing all of the tasks that you'd have to do to make this in an automated fashion, and we're handling it for you. We're cloning that database. We're going to apply that schema, and we're going to tag it so we can always get back to where you were before you started. We're also going to keep track of all of the different versions that you have deployed and understand exactly what's deployed on which infrastructure so we know how those deployments went or didn't. And what you'll find here Is it in our development environments? Of course, it pushed out appropriately with our newest version. We'll find out in our staging and our QA environments, it also did the same. But in our production across our entire system, it actually looks like it rolled back. As we go through the rest of the demo, we'll figure out why that happened, but ultimately you get all of the information that you need about your changes, making sure that you automate your databases the same way you do your applications and your infrastructure. Again, getting you back to where you were before you started without you writing a single line of code. Let's get back into the pipeline. Now that we've done our database changes, we've done a rollout deployment. Again, Harness can handle complex deployments for you, always updating the ticketing system, making sure that they know that this has progressed into the different environments. This went from dev into QA. In QA, we're going to follow some of the same similar deployment patterns. We're going to make sure that we have that build of materials. We've attested that it's the same artifact. We're going to, again, update all the ticketing systems, make sure the database is available. But even here, we're going to do complex deployments like a blue-green. Here, we're also going to go and test the resiliency. One of the things that people want to do is start adding more and more tests as they go through the process. And here, we're actually adding chaos testing right into the platform. Now you can go ahead and check for all those things, whether I've lost network or I've killed a pod. Will our applications stay up and meet all of our resiliency requirements that we have for production? If that's the case, continue and move forward. If it's not, let's go ahead and create a failure strategy and get you back to where you were. This one was successful. We've passed all of our chaos tests. And of course, we want to then go to an approval to make our way to production. Here, again, we can do those approvals inside of the system. You can use them with ServiceNow or Jira. Or more importantly, if you've automated all of the steps and you've put policy in place to make sure that the only thing that makes its way to production meets all of your requirements, maybe you don't even need that approval. So here we're looking at our production deployment. Again, following those same patterns, making sure that we're secure all the way across the board, updating our ticketing systems, updating our databases, and now doing complex deployments like Canary. Here with the Canary deployment, I'm actually doing a verification. I'm going to go look at all of my time series data. So this could be based on your performance data. This could also be based on your business and your cost information. But now I want to understand, how did this deployment do in comparison to everything else I've seen? And what you'll find is that my latency here is extremely slow. If that was the case, as an engineer, I would go and look at the logs, but Harness is already doing that for you. It's thinking about this the same way your best engineers would. So again, if I see this exception, here's a null pointer exception specifically. While I shouldn't have one in my system, it is something that I see every single time I deploy. So again, don't really worry about it. Our best engineers would know about it, but if I'm a brand new engineer, this is something that I could get caught up in. What about those ones that change in frequency? Those are hard for humans to see. And then more importantly, what about those brand new errors and exceptions that are introduced in the system for the very first time? Those are the ones that I really want to start honing in on. If these, however, cause such a problem, Harness can, again, take action. And that failure strategy can be getting you back to exactly where you were before you started, like we said previously, without you writing code. Harness knows what you deployed, on which infrastructure, with which configuration and which secrets. So again, we're going to go ahead and kill that canary. All right, we're going to make sure that we actually go and make those database changes and get it back to where it was before it was there. We're going to update all those tickets, clear up the infrastructure for you, all handling that for you automatically. Again, we know how that happened in the first place. We can get you back. One of the benefits here is this pipeline is entirely editable in our UI. So when you want to go and configure this and you want to change this, all of it is here for you. You can go to any execution, any step, any stage. And the benefit here is also that every single thing is a template. So whether it's a single step, like this pushing artifact, I can save that as a template. If it's a step group of, say, security scanners, I can do just the same. I can make sure that becomes a template that we reuse and we truly go to dry. Don't repeat yourself. I also can make sure that at any point in time, if an engineer wants to go and say cheat a little bit, so maybe I'm struggling getting through my whiz scans, I'll just go ahead and delete this and try to save it, because the reality is then my security team won't know that I missed it. What you'll find when I go ahead and save this, even pushing this to main, I'm not allowed to. And the reason I'm not allowed to is Harness has policies in place to make sure that, again, it's easy to do those right things and it's hard to do those wrong things. Right now, I can't save this pipeline, couldn't even execute it, because the fact is I don't have the scanners required that my security team is requested and mandated as part of the policy. One of the benefits here you'll also see is we can do multiple different, sorry, I'll start over that one. Another feature you'll see that we didn't get to see because we actually stopped going into production is we can add feature flags. So we can separate the deployment and the release. So just like Jyoti showed earlier, when we're looking at releasing features, we can go and show a small percentage. then we can go look at all of the business metrics, all of the APM and performance metrics, and understand if that change was worthwhile. If it was, let's continue those rollouts and make sure that our customers get all of the features that we want, but only the ones that actually are beneficial to the business. All of this, again, included in the entire power of the Harness platform. Lastly, while you can do all of this in a visual editor, you can also do this as config as code, and you can store this in your Git repository. So you can do this through PRs the same way that you would do any of your other code. You can apply this to all of the configurations to Harness. Again, we want to show you the full power of the Harness platform. Now that we've shown everything is through the deployments, through the build, we've noted that every single thing throughout this aspect is audited. Every step of the way, what we're executing, the input variables, the output variables, they're all here for you. So you never have a question, who deployed what, on which infrastructure, all of it's here for you. On top of that, we've added massive enhancements to our security. Here to talk about the enhancements to our supply chain security is Jyoti.
We are doing a major upgrade to our supply chain security capabilities. Software supply chains have become a frequent attack vector and for hackers to exploit. You've seen exploits like log4j, log4shell, about open source libraries used in your code. There were exploits of CI/CD systems with SolarWinds or CodeCurve. And there are a lot of challenges for engineering teams to make sure your supply chains are completely secure. In this upgrade, we have introduced a lot of new capabilities to secure your supply chains, to make sure that your artifacts are fully secure. You can track the entire lifecycle of your artifacts, but you can also see what's bad in your CI/CD toolchain if you have not configured it properly, if you have security vulnerabilities that could be exploited, and same thing with your code repositories. So let's see this in action.
Getting started with supply chain security is easy as one single click. Let's get started. Harness is providing you repo security posture management, CI security posture management, and artifact security. The intent, again, is to make sure that you can prevent things like a log4j event where we don't know what's deployed where, but more importantly, we can prevent things like SolarWinds or CodeCurve by now looking at all of the configurations of our CI and our CD systems. In order to get this enabled, it's one singular click to now start having Harness look at all of those configurations. We can now see in the compliance view exactly what we're protecting against. So all of those different areas of like possible secrets based into, say, Docker layers or vulnerabilities from command injections. Now we want to be able to surface those quickly so you can prevent any of those types of attacks, i.e. the SolarWinds and CodeCurve attacks. You can also build a set of rules and definitions to make sure that at any point in time you know exactly what we're preventing, why we're doing so, and again, what standards they're applied to. So again, adding things like making sure we have appropriate security around our repositories. We can look at a set of rule definitions to make sure that we don't, say, inject different things into our code and allow variables to be used to execute in our applications. We can go to any given artifact. We can understand the severity of all the different vulnerabilities that are there. And quickly, by looking at any single build, again, I get back to all of the information that I need. Where it's deployed, who deployed, what variables and vulnerabilities are being used. And more importantly, an entire chain of custody or true traceability from ideation all the way through to production, knowing that this was the exact artifact that we built and where it was deployed, how it was deployed, and all the provenance that came with it. Making sure, again, throughout the process, we know exactly what was built, what was deployed for every single artifact included. Now that you have the full chain of custody, Harness is adding on to its supply chain security by adding repo posture management and CI/CD posture management to make sure that you know everything that you build and deploy is fully secure. Now that we've shown you the platform and how to secure it, let's show you how you can be more efficient. We're looking at Harness's cloud cost management. Visibility is one thing, but more important than that is recommendations. We can start recommending on all the different resources that you have, as well as your commitments. Let's make sure that you're using RIs and savings plans accordingly. Let's also look at your clusters and add cluster orchestration to it to make sure that we're using the appropriate measure of spot instances on top of it. All of this is important, but more important than that is actually taking action. One of the things we can do is start providing the same level of governance and policies that we did in the entire software delivery lifecycle, we can also add to all of your cloud. Now I can prevent you from kicking up infrastructure in the wrong regions. I can make sure that we don't, say, add GPUs to the instances that we want. And you can add policy not only to your applications, to your software delivery, but now even to your cloud. On top of that, we're going to auto-stop all of your non-production instances for you automatically. The same way that you'd come into a room, and if the light switch turns on when you walk in, you leave for 5 minutes and it turns off, we're going to do the same exact thing for all of your non-production instances, including all their dependencies. Again, save 70% of your non-production workloads simply by enabling auto-stopping from Harness. Not only do we want to look at how we can be efficient in cloud cost, we want to look at how you can do that across the entire software development lifecycle. Here we can see things like DORA, getting to all the metrics that matter. We can make sure we understand the developer insights, who's working with who, what code is being written, who's actually checking it, and we can really have an understanding of all of the work that's going on. More importantly, we can actually highlight those teams that are doing phenomenal work, and we can show folks how to actually get better throughout the process. Our junior engineers and our senior engineers and our DevOps engineers all operate in different capacities, so we can make sure that their metrics perform specifically to them, but ultimately show and reflect across the board, again, enhancing and showing all of the great things that our best engineering teams can do. One of the things we've done is we've decided to leverage Looker so that you don't have to know and learn how to write new dashboards and technologies, but we can start showing you the information that matters to you quickly. Here's an example of all of your cost savings that you would have using Harness's CI, say versus GitHub Actions, but you can also have all of the metrics included in your deployments and your feature flags and your builds and your cost, all available inside of one dashboard. If you don't like writing these dashboards, you can also use our AI to create these for you, so you can use human written word to understand and ultimately give you every single dashboard you need without you having to even know the languages to use specifically. As you've seen today, Harness is making it easy to do the right thing. It's making it hard to do the wrong thing. One of the things we're also doing is instead of shifting all of that workload to the engineers, we're actually shifting the information when it's valuable. Here's just a small example of what you can do with the power of the Harness platform. On to you, Jyoti.
Thank you, Nick. Very excited about all these new capabilities that we are launching. Thank you so much to our engineering teams who have been working hard to bring all of these capabilities to you. But this is not all. We strongly believe that AI has to play a major role in how software engineering is done. At Harness, we have a long history of bringing AI to DevOps and software engineering. When we first launched Harness in 2018 with our continuous delivery module, the headline in press was that Harness is bringing artificial intelligence to continuous delivery. We introduced continuous verification as an AI/ML technology to figure out if a deployment or a code change is going to break something or not. In 2021, when we introduced continuous integration, with the fastest CI on the market, 4x faster builds than anything, the core technology behind it was test intelligence, which is an AI/ML model to figure out what tests are needed to be run because of a code change. Last year, we started to introduce generative AI capabilities in our platform for fixing security vulnerabilities, for creating dashboards, for troubleshooting deployment, build failures, etc. But all of this is just the beginning for us. We strongly believe that AI has to be foundational to our platform and not just an add-on on our platform. At Harness, we are launching a multi-agent AI architecture, an agentic workflow to help you with all aspects of software delivery. This multi-agent architecture uses a library of AI agents for DevOps, AI agents for QA, AI agents for coding, for FinOps, for reliability, and so on. So today, I'm very excited to showcase our first 3 AI agents, our AI DevOps Assistant, AI QA Assistant, and AI Coding Assistant. Our AI DevOps Assistant is designed to take away a lot of the work you have to do to create pipelines, edit pipelines, bring security governance policies in these pipelines, troubleshoot failures from deployments, builds, etc. A lot of the great work that you do with Harness DevOps toolchain could be even more simplified now with a natural language AI assistant to help you through all this work. So let's see this in a demo.
I'm extremely excited to show you exactly what Jyoti was talking about. All of the work that you put in to create templates and policies in Harness don't go to waste. We're going to leverage those when we use our AI to actually create your pipelines for you. Let's go ahead and create one right now. I'm going to go ask Harness to go and build, and I'm going to do this based on my AI demo here. When we go ask Harness to create the pipeline, it's going to take all those templates, all those policies, and it's going to give me something that, again, my infrastructure, my security teams have already blessed. And here we go, we can see the pipeline created for us automatically based on our standards and templates. Now we do see SCA scans and image scans, so maybe I want to go ahead and enhance this pipeline and add things like SAST scans. I can quickly go and ask Harness to do that for me. Let's go add SAST scans. Now, without knowing how to configure and all the different pieces that I need to set up, Harness is going to propose the changes that I need. It's actually requesting that I add Sneak, Sonar Cube, and Wiz. Let's go apply those changes now. And there you have it. Inside of there, we've enhanced the Harness pipeline by simply asking it in human language. Let's also go look at some of the suggestions that it's giving us. Maybe one of the things that we want to do is add an approval step before it goes to production. Again, with a simple click, I can go have Harness show me exactly what changes it wants to make. If I agree with them, I can go and apply them. And now we have approvals already set up in our pipeline. This is how easy it is now to build and configure pipelines in Harness using our AI. Not only is it easy to build and configure, it's also easy to troubleshoot. Here I've got a failure inside a Harness. Let's go ask it why it broke. The AI might sit here and think a little bit because it has to pull all the context that I would have, but what it very quickly found is that I actually have a memory leak. This could be a massive trouble for me to go and fix, figure out where in the code I need to go work on this, but instead Harness has all that context. So let's go ask it to do that for me. So what it's done, it's actually already pre-written me a description of the changes that it's made, and we can even go look at the changes that it's proposed. If I go through and understand exactly what it's doing and agree with what we're making the changes for, I can even go ahead and create the pull request right from here. This is how easy it is now to manage, to configure, and even to troubleshoot pipelines. Welcome to Harness's AI DevOps Assistant.
Thank you, Nick. Next is our AI QA assistant. If you ever written end-to-end QA tests, you know how hard that is. Even for a simple UI screen, it can take hours and hours. And the challenge is they are very, very brittle. If you make a small code change to a UI, the test will break. Maintainability effort is very, very hard. You have to make sure your selectors and XPaths are done properly. And there's a lot of work around it. And we constantly see this as a bottleneck, why people cannot ship code to production frequently, that they don't have enough tests. With Harness AI QA Assistant, we can simplify this all. We can reduce the time it takes to create a new UI test by 80-90%. We can reduce almost all of the maintainability effort that comes with it. And it's done with a concept called intent-based testing, where instead of you defining what buttons to press, what elements of your web page to use for the test automation, you just tell us the intent of the test. Say, for example, that you want to add some items to a shopping cart, and you want to make sure that the items are added properly, the math is right, the calculation is right. All of that, you just tell us the intent and everything will be done automatically. So this can significantly reduce the effort that you have to do to build and maintain UI tests. Let's see this live.
We know how hard it is to do end-to-end UI tests and the complexity that it is to try to configure and map out where to click things and what the settings should be. While it's automated potentially, it's extremely hard to change every single time the UI changes. Let's see how easy it is to set up a UI test instead of Harness's QA assistant. I'll go ahead and click on the screen. Now the system actually knows what I want to interact with, and you'll actually document the fact of what I'm doing. Now I can even add human language to say, let's go validate that this was even added to the cart. So quickly I can type that up, ask the assistant, and now it will go and actually validate and check that for me, regardless of where my cart location is or if my buttons move, because it's going to take the context based on the current and active version of the application. So as I make my changes in the back end, it will constantly reevaluate those for me. We can do complex tasks. So let's go ahead and add 3 4-star items under $50. Let's make sure they get added to the cart. All of these can be set up and configured to make sure that all the tests can be ran efficiently. Let's go ahead and run this test and see what actually happens. We can now watch this execute through the entire test. Every step of the way, it will go and find the context on the page and apply the actual step that we've asked it for. Not only that, we're going to record this entire session so that if it does continue successfully, you'll have a full recording of that. More importantly, if it fails, you'll know exactly where it failed, why it failed, and you'll see how it got there in the first place. Of course, if you need to make any changes in configuration, you can do so and rerun those tests. No longer do you have to sit there and write all of the complex pieces for every single change in your UI. Harness's QA Assistant provides all this for you with all the context for every single change in your application.
Thank you, Nick. Very exciting. So now let's talk about our third AI assistant, AI code assistant. AI coding assistants are being used pretty regularly these days for developers to get more productive in their IDEs as they're writing new code, new features, new capabilities, etc. I'm very excited to announce Harness AI Code Assistant. Harness AI Code Assistant is built on top of foundational models from Google Gemini and OpenAI. It seamlessly integrates into your IDEs. You can get a lot of developer productivity gains for all your coding tasks. Also, it integrates very well with the rest of the Harness toolchain, whether it's internal developer portal, cloud developer environment, CI/CD, and so on. And best of all, Harness AI Code Assistant is free if you're a customer of any of our other modules in the Harness platform. Let's take a look.
Let's show you what Jyoti was talking about with our AI code assistant. The first thing we want to talk about is code completion. At any point in time, it has context of what I was doing previously and can start adding things for me automatically. I can do complex things, like having it create main functions for me. If I don't understand how this function was created or what it's doing, I can even have Harness add documentation. Let's go have it generate some comments. More important than that, I hate writing tests. So let's go ahead and have Harness write those tests for me. Let's see how these tests are generated. And there you go, all the tests written for me so I don't have to. Maybe I want to know and understand how I've written my code, or maybe if I've made a mistake. Let's go ahead and ask Harness directly. Where is the bug in my code? And quickly it found it. I'm actually asking for a variable, but instead I'm always returning a 1, and so I see an issue with it. Harness found this quickly, gave me the response, and shows me how to fix it. What if I want to do something complex and maybe even nonsensical, like refactor this in Python? There it goes. It's using Flask and actually recreating this in Python for me automatically. Again, allow Harness to do the tasks that you don't want to. Deal with the blank spaces. Help you write those tests and comments to make sure that, again, we're removing all of that toil from you and you're leveraging an AI code assistant to do all the work that you don't want to.
One of the things that we hear from a lot of our customers is, how do you measure the true impact of AI? We all believe that the AI will increase productivity for developers, but how do you measure it? What is the proof? How do you quantify it? So today we are very excited to announce our new capability, AI Productivity Insights. With AI Productivity Insights, you get a framework to quantify the gains that you're going to get. We put them into 3 categories. One is, what's the velocity gain for developers? Are they writing more code? Are they doing more PRs? Are they doing more commits? Are the frequency increasing, etc.? But the velocity is not enough. What if the quality is going down? Then AI is not really making you more productive. So we're also measuring what is the quality impact of the code that's being written through AI. Do you have more rework in this code? Do you have more refactoring in this code? Are there more bugs in this code, etc.? And then we are also combining that with qualitative elements of what is the developer sentiment? Are developers happy? Do they feel more productive? Are they satisfied with the results they're getting with AI? And we are combining all of this into a productivity score. And then we do a cohort analysis of the cohort using AI and the cohort using not AI. What is the difference between them? And what is the gain for you as an organization in developer productivity for you? So let's see a demo of AI Productivity Insights.
All right. Now that we've seen code assistants, everyone wants to know how we can actually compare those that are using a code assistant versus those that aren't. Are we gaining value out of it? Is it more than just the feeling that the engineers have? Let's go look at that with our AI Productivity Insights. Here we're showing things like velocity, quality, and more importantly, how engineers feel with their experience. We can get into all these metrics so we can truly understand the effects that we're gaining from our AI code assistants. Right now, we're looking at things like lead time, number of commits, average number of PRs, right? All the information that we'd want to know about velocity. But velocity is not good enough if it's actually dramatically decreasing our quality. So we have to look at things like rework and refactoring as well. Those two are quantitative, but what about the qualitative understanding of how engineers are feeling? Let's also use surveys to really understand how does that AI make them feel. So now you get qualitative and quantitative all in one location, so you can truly start understanding the value that the AI code generating tools provide for you. The benefit here, setting this up, you simply go, choose your source code repository, choose the actual AI assistant tool that you have, whether it's Copilot, our AI Harness AI Code Assistant, or Gemini. Choose the time frame that you want to go back and look. And then ultimately you choose the cohort that you want to decide who's using AI and who's not. Now you have all of the piece of information that you need to start determining the differences and the benefits from your AI code gen tools. Welcome to Harness's AI Productivity Insights.
Thank you, Nick. Very exciting. But this is just the beginning of our AI capabilities. We'll be launching much more AI as part of our multi-agent AI architecture that we are introducing. Today, I'm also very excited to announce deepening of our partnership with Google Cloud. A lot of AI capabilities that you saw from us today are built on Google Gemini foundational models. We'll also be launching our AI productivity insights together with Google Gemini Code Assist, and Harness Chaos Engineering is being very tightly integrated into Google Cloud Build. So now let's recap everything that you heard today. We announced 3 new modules: Harness Cloud Developer Environments, to simplify the burden on developers to set up their local dev environments. You saw Harness Artifact Registry to bring a secure AI-native artifact registry very seamlessly integrated into Harness CI/CD pipelines. You saw Harness Database DevOps, first such offering in the market to bring automation and CI/CD practices to database changes. You saw our announcements on our AI assistants, Harness AI DevOps Assistant, to help you with all your CI/CD tasks, building pipelines, maintaining pipelines, troubleshooting failures, doing fixes automatically, and so on. You saw our AI QA assistant, the first such assistant in industry to significantly reduce the burden of creating end-to-end UI tests. You saw our AI coding assistant to help you with coding tasks and have it very tightly integrated in the rest of the Harness ecosystem. You also saw from us today 2 significant upgrades to our existing modules: our software supply chain security, where we significantly expanded with introduction of CI/CD toolchain posture management, code repo posture management, and artifact security at the next level. You saw our AI productivity insights today that gives you metrics and visibility inside what is the real gain of AI to your developers. A lot of exciting changes to our platform, a lot of new capabilities today here. We are very proud that our platform is coming together. Our vision of bringing you the most comprehensive software delivery platform gets closer and closer, and we are very excited to continue to bring these capabilities to you. If you are interested in early access to any of these new capabilities, you can scan this QR code and check these out. We are getting closer and closer to our vision of bringing the most comprehensive software delivery platform to the industry, where we can help you with DevOps modernization, measuring and improving your developer experience, securing your software delivery processes, and optimizing your cloud costs, and all of this integrated into one platform to improve the developer experience and reduce all of the toil. But before we wrap, I have another exciting announcement. Today we are launching Harness Open Source. It's the first open source DevOps platform that combines code repository, CI, CD, cloud developer environments, and artifact registry in one integrated offering. You don't need to download Jenkins anymore to get started. If you're a developer or DevOps engineer, you can download Harness Open Source and get the next generation of DevOps capability right in your hands in a matter of minutes. Thank you to our sponsors for partnering with us on this event. And thank you all for joining us here today. Now let's hear from our customers on how they are transforming their DevOps journeys using Harness platform.